So Leonardo DiCaprio is back in the news because he is what now? He's 48, right?
He is 48.
Yep. And he is dating a 19-year-old woman.
How else does he get in the headlines anymore if it's not about him dating young chicks or him being a climate activist?
Apparently just that.
Does he do anything of note anymore?
He's still acting. I put a poll up. I said, would you let your daughter date Leonardo DiCaprio? And an overwhelming amount of 84% say nope, no dice. There are nobody, like 84%. Of 426 votes say they are not letting Leonardo DiCaprio anywhere near their daughter. So, fair play to them, right?
What did you vote, Brett?
I did not vote.
You did not
vote? I did not vote. But I would vote no. I mean, just because it just seems like a huge problem.
Well, sometimes I feel like men who reach a certain age and have never been married and aren't in a long-term relationship, like, that just should tell you there are red flags there. Even if you can't see them.
He was recently dating Victoria Lamas, who is a model. She's 23.
I thought she was dating Bella Hadid, or not Bella.
No, they were just like...
He switches. He has a roster, okay? It's constantly switching. So when he was dating Victoria Lamas, her own father came out to the press and said, it looks like it's not permanent, but she's really smitten with him. And I'm just telling her she shouldn't get too attached because she's very young and, You were
not a fan of that.
I thought that was a really gross comment. The way he worded it, especially, I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but it was like he completely resigned himself to knowing that Leonardo DiCaprio has just taken up his own daughter as a hobby for the next month or two, and I think that's gross.
I was also
You think it's gross that he commented on it, or that Leonardo
his comments on it were gross? He didn't seem to have any valuable advice for his daughter.
I mean, probably because there's nothing he can do about it, right?
Yeah.
Well, if he pushing her farther away, would he not say so? I don't even know why he spoke to the press in the first place. But
maybe
anyway,
no comment would have been the better option.
Now, Leonardo DiCaprio has been pictured with a 19-year-old model named Eden Polani.
Yep, she's an Israeli model.
Yes, so that's a pretty big age gap, and now they're being compared to. He's 48. Now they're being compared to the age gap between Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey from The Last of Us. They have an even narrower age gap than Leonardo DiCaprio and Eden Polani. Pretty crazy, given that those two characters are supposed to have a father-daughter relationship.
Well, he's literally old enough to be her dad.
And Bella Ramsey is older than Eden Polani. Yeah. Now, Eden Polani does not look her age.
No,
she looks like she could be in her mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a weird conflict, right? Because she's going to act like a teenager but look like an adult.
It's also funny too because look, we found kind of articles that push back against this on both directions. So I looked at the insider data from the old OkCupid data study where they said that women actually date, they prefer men that are closer to their own age, but men as they get older, they would prefer younger, but they don't message women that are younger. Basically it says men in their 30s would prefer women in their 20s, but they don't message women in their 20s.
That shows Leonardo DiCaprio is dating a subset of women who are outliers from the rest. And it doesn't really say much about age gap relationships. It says something about Hollywood relationships.
Yeah.
That these models and actresses that are dating him, they gain something from dating him even for a short period of time because they get notoriety, they get in the paparazzi, they get in the headlines, their name is getting out there.
It's a career move, if anything.
It's a great career move.
It's impossible for me not to compare it to Hugh Hefner's and the Playboy Bunnies. He would have these girlfriends and they would be his girlfriend for long enough to get a centerfold, and then they would break up with him. And
so who's using who?
Right. And this was a regular thing to the point where he then made a rule that he wouldn't have his girlfriends be centerfold models anymore.
But now that he's passed, now it's pushed back on as if he was evil and that they weren't getting anything out of it. That they were like, oh, I showed up at the Playboy Mansion one day and
thank you. It's very disturbing.
Have you ever seen Jerry Maguire?
No.
No?
I don't think I've seen a movie ever.
No, not. It's a Tom Cruise movie, so apparently only I've seen it.
Guys, made a cardboard.
Yes. But like, like now all the stuff that comes out about Hugh Hefner, and I'm sure like horrible stuff happened, but they pretend there's a rewriting of history where those women didn't also get something out of those relationships, even though we know that that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
Some people are theorizing that Leonardo DiCaprio is actually just still like living the trauma of filming Titanic.
He's still on that board.
He like sees himself as the same age he was when he filmed it, and he now is dating like a fake redhead who looks like Kate Winslet at the time.
Every day, he starts dating them. He makes them role play getting on the board in the water.
He just wishes he had gotten on that freaking door. It was big enough.
I think part of it is he probably doesn't want to get older and be responsible. Like maybe he doesn't want to get married. Maybe he doesn't want kids. That's his prerogative. It would be hard for me after all of this time, because this has been going on for like 2 decades now. Was it Taylor Swift who, I don't think she's talking about Leonardo DiCaprio, but she has this song lyric where like,
just about John Mayer, right?
I always mess up the punchline, but I get older, but all your dates stay the same age. Like, he's always dating these girls in this like very narrow 5-year window. I think that it would be impossible at this point for him not to be aware, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a conversation that happens early on. Like, this is not long term. You're gonna date for a while. You'll come with me to events. But like, I can't offer you a life.
Yeah.
And they're okay with that. And like,
but the problem is in 20 years, they're gonna the tone will change.
Has anyone done that though? I mean, it's been going on for.
Yeah, but they didn't do it for Hugh Hefner until decades later.
But like, this
has
already
Blake Lively come out and said, Leonardo DiCaprio.
She was younger. I mean, they were both
me.
younger at that time.
But he was still minimum 10 years older than she was. I mean, I think Ryan Reynolds is even significantly older than she is. But like, to that end, wouldn't it have started happening by now?
No, it'll happen when he's in his mid-60s.
If he's still doing this in his
60s. Honestly, I don't think you can get Me Too just for ghosting young chicks after a couple months.
So, and like, it's funnier if we find out.
It's the tamest stuff you can find in Hollywood, actually.
It's funnier if we find out later that he keeps telling me, he's like, I really just want to get a girl pregnant, but he's actually has a vasectomy and he's just leading them on.
Well, we were talking about this earlier, and I was like, you're kind of, if you just want to like be seen in photos with women, but you're not interested in like being with one or like having a kid with one, you're kind of missing one of the key factors of like being attracted to women, right? Like wanting to have a baby with one.
I don't think that's true. I think that there are a lot of men
he wants the sex, he doesn't want the rest of it.
Yeah, and having a kid is responsibility, and it's being older. Like,
didn't we hear something about him like
perpetually young? You don't want to be a dad ever. I think this is gonna have the reverse effect, which is gonna start to make him look so old compared to these girls.
He does too. Like in the photos, he's the definition of husky now.
Right, and like he's gonna be
the Juvederm is migrating.
Like his body was always kind of is like on the huskier side, but now his face matches it because of all of the fillers.
Now he's like, well, date younger, and that's gonna make it look worse. It's like
a desperate bid to seem cool and hip still, and it's embarrassing.
Everyone was like applauding him because he dated a girl who was like 23. They're like, good for you. You aged up a little bit. Now he's like, no, I'm not getting caught with any of that.
Where do I get this notion that he wears sound canceling headphones during sex? Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Someone said that. Like that was an actual rumor that he like listens to ambient music or something.
That's amazing.
During sex. Like,
I mean, that would tell you that he's like not there for whoever he's with.
Right? Well,
he's
exactly.
there for himself. And that's telling. Like if he is dating these people and being like, maybe he's like, yeah, I love you so much, we'll get married. And he's like, actually, no, I'm never going to marry anyone. I don't want kids. I mean, he is operating in his own sphere.
Yeah.
And I think that should tell you that like he is aware that he gives these girls a platform.
Or
maybe make him look cool.
Maybe I've been wrong this whole time, and he actually is like a true climate zealot. And he's like, I would have kids, but the world's going to end. Al Gore told me the world is going to end in 12 years. Therefore, we can't have kids. Maybe that's why he got into climate change to begin with.
I 110% believe people do that.
He's like, he got into it so that he could just tell these women, look, I don't want to have kids because I don't want to commit. I don't want to.
I have known multiple girls who have been with guys for a long time, and the guys, they're trying to get more serious or whatever else. And at some point, their boyfriend looks at them and was like, well, we just can't bring a kid into this world. It's too messed up.
That's
it. That's
it. That's
every
totally
single
what
guy
he's doing
who says
here.
that,
if you can feel virtuous for simply refraining from doing something, that's the easiest way out.
I think what you should hear
moral
is
responsibility.
If your boyfriend says that to you, you should hear, I don't want to have a kid with you. It's not about the world. It's this specific relationship.
Right.
So it's also.
I also want to hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, didn't for a long time people say like George Clooney dated girls who were much younger than him and he was going to be bachelor forever.
He eventually sat down.
Whatever else. He eventually settled down, right?
Late 50s.
In his like
with a woman who looks like she holds him on a leash.
Yeah.
Which good for her. Yeah. Whatever. But like it worked out eventually. I feel like what's different about Leonardo DiCaprio is like if we believe that he ultimately doesn't want to get married, like he is only going to evolve into being kind of creepy.
Yeah. He also maybe he's still upset that he doesn't get to be this like to this day when you talk about men being good looking, it's like, well, he's no George Clooney. He's mad that it never transitioned to he's no Leonardo DiCaprio. So he's bitter about that. So he's going to be a playboy for years later than George Clooney, purely out of spite. I also think that part of like maybe the thing is like if he's actually casting these women like, here, do you want to be my girlfriend? And now like because the thing was like after COVID he would go out with a mask even after like people stopped wearing masks, like because celebrities, like that's great for celebrities, they don't have to be recognized in public. And the girlfriend's like, no, if I'm gonna date you I have to put up with all this hoopla, you better go out without a mask so people get to see me and you out together.
I just found this GQ article that's called "This is what happened when I tried to have sex like Leonardo DiCaprio allegedly has sex." And he allegedly vapes and wears noise-canceling headphones during sex because it's just he's not getting all of his senses stimulated enough.
To My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
I think there should be some kind of service in this day and age where women can leave Yelp reviews for men that they date or hook up with.
That's a horrible idea.
Like Leonardo
Women
DiCaprio.
are so much more vindictive.
I think there was an app like that.
Really?
Yeah, I have to think about it. But it was one of these things you like comment anonymously. It could be wrong.
Women are so much more vindictive. It would be
like,
it would be like a creative writing.
What was that? West Village Caleb or something?
Oh, that's a horrible idea.
That just feels creepy to me to be like, oh, it's like eating at a restaurant except weirder.
And it's just funny too because so the study from
West Elm Caleb, sorry, the serial ghoster from Hinge.
Also,
that went viral.
Like the guy,
year.
Like women get celebrated for like using men to go out and get free meals, but the one guy who would who used all the women, like telling them they're like he dated like 50 women and told them all a separate day was his birthday so that he could get different birthday gifts from all of them.
Why would you go on a first date with somebody on your birthday?
No, I'm saying like he did that, but then the women he kept up multiple relationships and told them all he had a different birthday so he could get different birthday gifts. But then and he got in trouble. Like he got like arrested,
got taken to court
like for
over this.
but the women who like brag about going out on dates with men just for the meal get celebrated and lauded by society. It's a double standard, I tell you.
You know, this behavior, like the guy who made up those fake birthdays and Leonardo DiCaprio constantly keeping a roster of constantly changing like 22-year-old models. It's all just like, I didn't get enough attention growing up. It's giving fatherless.
Well, at what point do we say like this isn't that cool anymore?
Well,
you know, like you were a cool actor back in the day and you've done some stuff, but now you're kind of a aging guy who can't settle down, who apparently can't hold a strong enough emotional bond to one human being to commit to them.
Can't pair bond.
It doesn't seem cool anymore. It just seems kind of sad.
I don't even think it's like the Me Too allegation that a lot of people are pointing it out to be.
I didn't get that.
It's just cringy.
Yeah.
It's just sad. Like, come on, buddy.
Also, I want to point out that his behavior is going to like his behavior, which has been like lauded for decades, is what hurts regular men. Because when women talk about like men like doing this stuff, people don't realize that it's only the very, very small percentage of men who get to do stuff like this. Regular guys don't get to have rosters.
Nor should you.
Rich celebrities have rosters, but then all the music from the late 90s to the 2020s has been about how men are bad and men are players and independent women and women and this and that.
I'm
just
sorry,
saying,
but
in effect, it didn't hurt him. It hurts regular dudes because it makes regular men look like they're not trustworthy.
I really hope dudes in their late 40s aren't looking at these stories from Leonardo DiCaprio and thinking, yeah, I should be dating 19-year-old models too.
I'm a high value man.
Also, like, I'm sorry, but like anyone who's out there, if you're dating a guy and he's like, yeah, my last relationship was with someone who was 100 years younger than me and it lasted 3 months, but before that, like, and tells you this stuff, like, you run away. Like, this is not good. I mean,
they probably go to him on purpose to get their name in the headlines,
right?
though.
And at that point, like, that's where I came to the conclusion that this must be something he talks about up front from the beginning, right? Like, we can date, we can have a good time, but like, I can't promise you anything, and I don't want to. And don't think you're different. None of you are different. Every single one of you is getting broken up with when you hit that special age of what, 24?
Half your age plus 7, ladies. Half your age plus 7.
That's just for men, I think.
It's
what was the other metric I saw earlier?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
if she can remember, or no, it's like, if you can remember 9/11,
but COVID interrupted her education.
Schooling interrupted by COVID, then you probably shouldn't date. Is that what it said?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
fair enough.
It's up to your discretion.
Look, I'm telling you right there, like, half your age plus 7 is the one that people go by. Also, it was just really funny because the Insider article, right, pointed out, it said, look, men prefer younger, but they're not actually getting the younger women because they're not messaging the younger women, and the women prefer.
Women don't message anybody.
Women don't message anyone, and they're saying that women prefer to date men within their own age range. But then there's the Edie article that says, why do I keep dating older men? And then it gives all the reasons that everyone knows why people date older men. They call it stability, right? They can offer them something that younger men cannot provide them. But is Leonardo DiCaprio providing anyone stability?
I think go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think Leonardo DiCaprio, I had a friend at college, a male friend, who said, college is weird because you're like with a bunch of people that are the same age, but that's actually not natural to most of society to have like hundreds or thousands of people who are within 4 years of each other. Mm-hmm. And he would always say, like, if you're a freshman girl and you think this senior guy is hitting on you because he thinks you're great and he's going to propose and whatever else, like, that's probably not true. He's probably trying to stay young and hook up and do whatever the kids are doing when they first get dropped off by their parents and left in the wild or whatever. Yeah. And so to this extent, I think Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to promote his youth by maintaining having a lack of relationship, by having like a cast of young girls or whatever else. And I think that ultimately no one really wants that, right? And so women are more likely to look at older guys and be like, oh, I want to date an older guy, or you might happen to it, because by the time they hit that age, they know that they are not looking for a fling or whatever else.
Also, people in the comments or in the chat right now are kind of talking about like nobody's saying like he's doing anything like wrong. I'm saying these are consenting adults. They're just saying that like it's always going to be a matter of public interest when he does this because
and also
of the
it's
age
like how
gap.
long? Like how long is he going to do this for?
Like he's not doing any.
Here's when I think he's going to stop. Because I saw this comment earlier that said the current age of the girl that Leo is going to be dating in 12 years is 7 years old. She's Gen Alpha. Just like she is part of the iPad generation. So I think Leo's dating habits are going to change once he realizes that he keeps dating all of these women who are raised by iPads and Cocomelon, and they can't pay attention to a single thing that he's saying. He's going to start being like, oh shit, I need to start dating women who are a little older.
He's going to be like, look,
their attention spans are worse than goldfish.
He's going to say, look, when I was in The Man in the Iron Mask, and they're like, what the hell is The Man in the Iron Mask?
They're like, what? Were you in Cocomelon?
What was Titanic?
When he keeps name dropping celebrities he's worked with and they don't know
they
who
have
they
no
are.
clue who that is.
Like my dad likes that guy.
No, what will happen is like he'll mention something and it'll be like a TikTok trend by that time, and it won't actually be what he's talking about.
And like younger chicks are gonna start dating older men because they're gonna be the men who haven't downloaded the app called TikTok.
Exactly.
Right.
I just think eventually Leonardo DiCaprio will come out as gay, and he'll be like,
a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe that all the women that he dates are hired by PR agencies.
I do. It does kind of feel like that, doesn't it?
Like that he's basically like they're casted. It's like they get a picture of them holding hands as they go through traffic and their heads down and stuff like that.
And if he doesn't want to pay attention to them during sex, then maybe he just wants to think about somebody else.
That could be because he's
a man.
I mean, that could be because he's a narcissist, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
He's like, the sound of your voice is grating on me.
I wish it were a man's voice.
He says it's ambient noise, but it's not ambient noise.
I'm telling you, he's listening to My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. He's like,
oh no.
I'm telling you, the number one thing is like, he's like, okay, if you were on this door and we were floating in the ocean, would you move over and give me space on the board?
The catch is that they would both die because of hypothermia.
Apparently, because they're re-releasing Titanic in the theaters soon.
Oh, so glad that's happening.
I know, right?
Another W for James Cameron.
Right? Like, but they're doing a thing where they're redoing the test to see if two people could have gotten on that board. Like they're like doing a special.
I saw that.
They're doing
It's
like a
too
special
late.
on it.
He would have died. Come on. He would have had hypothermia.
Broad just lets him die and then throws the thing in the water at the end. Throws the necklace in the water.
Worst
That was the worst
Come
part.
on. That was your grandchildren's inheritance.
You could have given that to your grandkids. It's horrible.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.